Hello, my name is Nairobi Haggie, and this is my classroom management plan for first grade. My beliefs about classroom environment. So, I believe that a classroom environment should be warm, supportive, and a safe space for all students. I think that it is important for all students to feel heard, seen, and comfortable in the classroom. Um, I really think that inclusivity is very important in the classroom because it encourages diversity, it promotes equity, and it fosters empathy. Um, when students feel more comfortable in the classroom, they're more likely to behave and cooperate, and it also enhances learning because it creates an environment where all students feel valued and supportive, excuse me. And also, the classroom environment should be a positive space that fosters student engagement and allows learning without disruption. My discipline philosophy. I believe that discipline should be fostered around positive reinforcement and promoting a safe and inclusive learning environment for all students. So, pretty much when I think of discipline, I don't think of negative consequences or negative reinforcement. It should always be positive, because I think positive reinforcement have more effective outcomes than negative. Um, and I can achieve this in my classroom by consistently modeling appropriate behavior and establishing clear expectations and consequences with my students. I also believe that it is important to recognize and address my students' individual needs and differences and to prioritize open communication with teachers, students, and parents. And by fostering a sense of community and encouraging self reflection and growth, we can create a positive and supportive environment that encourages students to take responsibility for their actions and to strive for success. My philosophy of education. So, my goal as a teacher is to thoroughly comprehend my students and their educational needs because when I truly understand what my students need, I'll be able to really make my lesson plans according to their interests and their needs, and I'll be able to teach more effectively once I understand their needs. Um, Another objective is to inspire my students to enjoy learning and to help improve their skills throughout the school year. I find much joy in watching children improve their knowledge. Um, I would like to establish bonds with students and encourage them to master new skills, as well as to create an inclusive classroom environment that makes each of my students feel welcome and comfortable. One of the most important things for a teacher to do is to build bonds and connections with their students, and this will allow students to feel more comfortable with the teacher and it will reduce misbehavior. So, this is my welcome letter to my students. I wrote, "Good morning, class. My name is Ms. Haggie, and I'll be your first grade teacher for this academic school year. I am from Virginia Beach, and I graduated from Norfolk State University with a bachelor's degree in elementary education. In my free time, I enjoy dancing, cooking, and watching Netflix. I'm very excited to work with you all and learn more about you and your interests. My main expectations of you all are to maintain respect between me and your peers throughout the school year, come to class ready to learn, follow directions, be on your best behavior, and always do your best work." So I just listed a couple of my rules below this with bullet points because I think that it is very important to establish these in the classroom. There's many more that I could think of, but these are some of the most important ones that I thought should be included. I wrote to always do your best as the last rule on here because I just always want my students to strive to be successful. I will not tolerate students who do not do their best work. And if they don't do their best work, I would pull them to the side and try to figure out what's going on with them, or, try to help them and figure out other ways to support their learning. So here's my welcome parents letter. My first day of school assignment. So I think that it is important to learn about your students on the first day of school. So my first assignment will be the All About Me assignment. And this assignment consists of my students writing their interests and things about them that they would like to share with me. I think this is a perfect activity for me to get to know my students right off the bat and for them to know that I am interested in their lives. This will also give me an opportunity to develop lesson plans and activities that have my students' interests integrated into them. So one of the philosophers that I identify with is Ronald Moorish, because I love how he focused on the concept of real discipline. Some teachers think of discipline as rules, punishment, or consequences. However, just like Moorish, I think of it as teaching students right from wrong and how to behave properly. Instead of just telling students to do something or to follow rules, teachers should demonstrate how to do it correctly. Especially because many students are not taught how to behave properly at home. So it is important for teachers to teach students how to comply, and the overall goal is for them to develop self-control over time. And since I want to teach either first or second grade, I believe that Moorish's ideas will benefit my young students and help me develop a structured classroom with well-behaved students. Student compliance is key to successful classroom management. Other philosophers that I identify with is Harry and Rosemary Wong, because they both suggest that implementing rules and procedures early in the year will help create a successful classroom. I believe that it is essential to establish rules and procedures early to get my students familiar with how my classroom will run throughout the year. When my students get in the hang of our classroom routines and procedures, it will limit transition times, reduce misbehavior, and promote student engagement. Clear expectations and consistency in daily routines will be beneficial to the structure of my classroom. So my arrival procedure. As soon as students enter the classroom, they will enter the classroom quietly and put their book bags on the hooks. They will greet peers and me as they enter. They will sit at their seats and begin working on the morning assignment while they're eating breakfast. And when finished, they will sit quietly or read a book while waiting to review the assignment. Also, when the students arrive, I will be standing in front of the classroom or either by the door. And when my students arrive, I will greet my students by saying good morning, and I will ask, how they're doing. Tardy procedure. So when arriving at the classroom tardy, students, they must come in quietly and hang up their book bags on their racks. So tardy students, they must receive a tardy pass prior to coming to class. The first unexcused tardy, students will receive a verbal warning. The second, parents will be contacted. And the third, parents will be asked to come in for a conference. Any higher amounts of unexcused tardies will result in a parent conference with the school principal. Absence procedure. So parents must provide a valid excuse for their student's absence prior to the missed school day, or provide a written notice regarding the student's absence within 3 days upon the student's return to school. If a student accumulates 5 or more unexcused absences, a parent or guardian will be contacted. So lining up and the hallway procedure. So students need to stand up quietly and push in their chairs, line up quietly. They should walk behind the person in front of them. They need to keep their hands by their sides or behind their backs, as seen in the picture, and they need to look straight ahead. Restroom procedures. They must raise their restroom signal in the air. So when students need to use the bathroom, I'm going to give them a signal. It's basically just them crossing their fingers in the air, and I will give them a nod or tell them to go ahead to the bathroom, just to reduce disruption of them asking to go to the bathroom all the time. When acknowledged, they will walk straight to the bathroom quietly, use the restroom quickly and quietly, wash and dry your hands, and walk straight back to class. So, dismissal procedure, they must clean off the top of their desk and around their areas. They will put their homework in their daily folder, then in their book bags. They will wait quietly to be told to line up, and then once they're told to line up, they will push up their chairs and line up quietly to get ready to be dismissed. So bullying is not tolerated at all. All students will be treated with respect, and we will treat everyone how we would like to be treated inside and outside of my classroom. If a student is being bullied or sees someone being bullied, I would want them to bring it to my attention immediately. Consequences of bullying states parents of both students will be contacted. The bullying student will be held accountable. Disciplinary consequences will be assigned with an emphasis in showing empathy to the bullied student, because I want the bullied student to at least get an apology, and a meeting with both students will be held to ensure preventative measures. So I would have the both students meet together, and we would work out a solution between them to prevent that in the future. So, homework procedure. Homework will be put in a weekly folder to take home every day. On Fridays, the folder will be turned inside of the homework bin for grading. Homework will not be formally graded and reflected on report cards, but graded for completion, because I just want to make sure that my students are doing their work. And I don't think that it should be a huge percent of their grade, because it is first grade. So when there's a visitor in the room, my students must continue to behave properly and be respectful. Students should work quietly and maintain self-control while I am speaking to the guest. Getting my class's attention. So I will clap a rhythm for my students to repeat. I will say 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. I will apply body language, so you can use body language as well. So if I stand at like a designated spot of my classroom and just look at my students, or like stand a certain way, they will probably catch on and give their undivided attention. Also, another thing I could do is flicker the lights, just to get their attention. How to get my attention? Basically, I just want my students to raise their hand quietly and wait patiently. I don't want to be called out. I don't want to be called at or disrupted. So that's why I would like my students to just raise their hand quietly, and I will get to them when I can. So how I will teach my rules and procedures. On the first day of school, I will review my rules with my class and then have each student sign their name on the rules poster, just so I can have everyone's agreement of the rules. And then I will keep that up front just so everyone can be reminded that they signed the rules poster and they should abide by the rules. I will also show videos regarding to following the rules and how to behave appropriately, to include visual learning. And my students will also practice how to do our procedures until it becomes routine. I will include storybooks and songs about procedures and rules. Storybooks, for example, if I had my students write a story about someone not following the rules or someone acting out, they would be able to understand that that's not how we act. So basically, just having storybooks showing them, how to behave and what not to do. I will also praise and give positive attention to students who show responsible behavior and who follow the rules without being asked. So, discipline and classroom rules. On the first day, like I said, the students will review the classroom rules and sign their name on the poster. I will teach these rules and have students practice them. And there will also be rule posters all over the classroom. We will review these on the first day of school and throughout the school year as necessary. So I just would like them to listen to instructions when told, treat others the way they want to be treated, keep their hands, feet, and objects to themselves, raise their hand to speak, use good manners like please and thank you, take care of our classroom materials, and always do their best and to work hard. So rewards and consequences. Students who do not abide by my rules will be told to correct their behavior and the reason why we need to follow the rules. If the student continues to misbehave, they will be talked to in private and given choices for their positive consequence to encourage good behavior. If there is still behavioral issues, a parent or guardian will be contacted and a disciplinary action will be permitted. So for rewards, students will be rewarded occasionally when behaving with integrity. I think it's always great for students to behave how they're supposed to, especially when no one is looking. Students will also be rewarded if we achieve classroom goals. So my seating, I believe that seating arrangements should promote collaboration to help foster a positive learning environment and encourage creativity. The arrangement should also be set up in a way that allows me and my students to easily move around the classroom. I also think that students' needs, learning objectives, classroom size and shape, and use of technology should be considered when creating the arrangements. And so, in all, I believe a well-designed seating layout should help reduce distractions and support learning. So this is my classroom layout. My desks should be pushed back a little bit, but I tried my best with this picture. So basically we have the door in the left bottom hand corner, and I have my book bag rack right next to the door, so as soon as they walk in, they can just place that right there. I have my supply closet right next to my desk, so it's easily accessible. So my student desks, I put them in pods. I put them in groups because I would like them to be able to collaborate and work together in groups. And also, since they're in groups, I could, like, when students are being called to the carpet or something, I can call them like in certain groups, and I would probably do like groups by colors. So blue group come to the carpet, red group comes to the carpet, something like that. I have my teacher's desk on the side of them. I can basically see everything that's going on. I have a bookshelf in the top left hand corner, and then I have put beanbag chairs there because if students want to read their books whenever we have free time, I just wanted to give them an option to sit there if they wanted to. So I have my smart board up front, and I have the carpet, and I also have a chair right there just in case I would like to do story time or just presenting anything. I also have a bulletin board right there. I would like to what's the word? I would like to put like student achievements on that board and stuff like that, and just things that we have to do, important messages, things like that. I also have my small group table in the bottom right corner, and I have that facing away from the classroom to eliminate disruptions or distractions rather. So my students, their backs will be faced towards the classroom. All right, so my daily schedule. I have arrival and morning review. As soon as students come in, they will start on their morning review while they're eating breakfast. And And after that, we're just going to go over it together. After that, we're going to do sight words and a spelling lesson. After that, an assignment and group work. Then they would have specials, which would be PE. Then we would come back from that and I would do storytelling and a presentation. After that, I would give them time for independent reading before lunch. After lunch, they would have recess. Because I know it is very important for young students, especially to get recess and get all that energy out. After that, I have an addition and subtraction lesson and then a math problem activity to go with that. Then after that, we have small groups, and then we're going to go back to our spelling and phonics review from earlier. Then we're going to start on something new, which, well, not new, but it will be review, which will be the science lesson, maybe from the day before, and then a new science activity. After that, work centers, and then pack up and dismissal. So my reflection, I think that teaching should not feel like a job if you truly love what you do. Also, teaching is not easy. It's really not, and it comes with a lot. However, all jobs will have challenges, and not all jobs are super easy. So it is up to us as educators to pour our hearts into our students and ensure that they're receiving a quality education. And that concludes my PowerPoint. Thank you.